So today's video is gonna be a special one. We're gonna be going through all of the info that we know so far about the mask powers that we tried out, how are they usable in levels, and especially a deep dive into Kupuna-Wa and Lani-Loli, since I've got to try out both of them in the hands-on demo last week. Again, massive thanks to Activision and Toys for Bobs for reaching out to me to test the game out early. I already shared my experience and first impressions of the Crash 4 demo in my last video, but for this video alone, I just want to focus on the mask powers alone, as there are some details that I perhaps didn't touch upon or didn't clarify it about too much. So yeah, this video is going to focus on just that. Now I have jam-packed new videos coming out following my experience with the Crash 4 demo, so if you're thinking of subscribing to the channel, now's a great time to do so. Now I want to be clear just before I start, what you see does not represent the final version of the game, it is subject to change. So with that out of the way, now let's start off with the details for Lani-Loli first, as I think most of you who clicked on this video want to know more about Lani-Loli, especially about its new phasing power and how it actually works. Now first off, the way you encounter the mask is the same as how you encounter any other quantum mask, which is by sections of the maps. As you can see here, I'm able to use Lani-Loli's power in this specific section of Dino Dash only. So once you have acquired Lani-Loli, you are able to use its power only until a specific part of the map. Now for its powers alone, as mentioned, it's the power of phase. It allows you the ability to phase crates and objects in and out of existence. For crates, you generally want to unphase them to grab them. For obstacles, phasing them is the way to go to not crash into it. You can see Lani-Loli has two different phasing modes, indicating which set of obstacles or crates you are phasing. For example, the first phase allows these crates to be phased, and pressing the phase button again will cause them to switch phases. On the right side here on Dino Dash, it is a small minor detail, but it sorta hints what type of obstacles you are about to face during this period, which in this case is the mushrooms. Now it is unclear whether monsters will be able to be phased in or out for future levels, as in this level alone we are able to do it for crates and the mushrooms. But I hope to see it happening for some later levels for the monsters, as I imagine that it would lead into some very interesting gameplay. Also, about the cooldown of the phasing ability, as for now there doesn't seem to be a cooldown tied to it, and I think it will stay this way until the final game release. It just seemed to make much more sense whenever I use the power of Lani-Loli and Kupuna-Wa. The gameplay is just very fluid and it just feels right at home without the cooldown. So that is all the details about Lani-Loli so far. If you have any questions that are left unanswered, comment down below and I will answer in my next Q&A video. Now moving on to Kupuna-Wa, as I know that some of you want to know what it feels like. Again, same with Lani-Loli, you can activate and deactivate the power, which is a time slow mechanic whenever you like and how often you want, as long as you collected the mask. No cooldown tied to it. And from what I've got to experience in Snow Way Out, the gameplay tied to Kupuna-Wa will be heavily linked to response time and quick reaction. Take this gameplay for example. This crate only appears during a Kupuna-Wa based section, and what this does is that it activates certain crates to appear for a split second, which you can determine the location of it by the red outline here. In order to cross over, you have to activate the crate to make it appear and then slow down time with Kupuna-Wa to jump across it. Now one thing I like to mention, you can either first activate the crate and then slow down time, or you can slow down time first and then only activate the crate. Both ways works fine. But for me, I would prefer to slow down time first and then only activate the crate. This way I can maximize the amount of time the platform crates appear for me to cross forward. Now you might already know that with Kupuna-Wa's power activated, you can run across nitro crates to delay their explosion, and just in this bonus stage alone is No Way Out, where this is actually utilized, it feels really nerve-wracking, but really tests your focus at the same time. I can tell you that in future levels, Kupuna-Wa stages will be one of the hardest one out there, as you will get a sense of panic while nitro crates are at your feet, while the time stop mechanic is, let's say, running out of time. Now in terms of the overall difficulty of the mask levels, I have already mentioned before in my previous video, but I figured to mention it again since this video is leaning towards the topic of quantum mask. And all I can say is expect the mask gameplay to be very mind-boggling and rage-inducing. And I dare to say that it is probably one of the hardest aspects of any levels in a Crash Bandicoot 4 level. Take Dino Dash and Snow Way Out for example. The vine gliding section of Dino Dash utilizes Lani-Loli's power, and it took about a good 20 deaths or so to finally pass it. Same goes with this bonus stage in the Snow Way Out with Kupuna-Wa, and it will only be much harder if you decide to grab all the crates and Wumpa fruits along the way. But overall, I feel the quantum mass adds a great spice to the levels, and that is what we know so far of how it actually works. As for the gravity mass and this purple mass that we have zero knowledge about, I will make an update video once we have more info. But enough about me, what do you think of the quantum mass so far? Let me know down in the comment section below. And also the comment of the day from my previous video goes to MPN's Itaichi Sykes. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that Activision reached out to me as I'm considered to be a small content creator, but nevertheless this opportunity is probably the biggest in my YouTube career so far, so I am extremely grateful for that. Thanks for commenting on my last video and congratulations on getting the comment of the day. More Crash Bandicoot related videos will be out, so if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do so, as the best way to catch up with my content is through a subscription. Also be sure to check out these two videos as well, especially if you haven't watched my first impressions of the Crash 4 demo yet. This is TheViperian signing off, and stay tuned for my next video.